Hello, hello. Happy International Women's Day. Happy Tuesday. I know we're usually here on Monday. I wouldn't say Monday so bad. Today is our Monday movie discussion on Tuesday. And we'll be talking about Mamaru Hosada's movie, The Wolf Children. And so, yeah, I'm going to bring up my co host and we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Because I know we're starting a little behind schedule. Hello,
Hello.
Day. It's International Women's Day. So, it's only
Yeah.
right that we start late, right?
Right.
Because that's what women do. We always be late. It's
That's
just,
us, you
you
know.
know, always getting ready. Why
Yeah.
is my cat looking at me like this? Um, it's like really like it just makes me
Disturbing.
like, yeah, you know how you like could feel somebody looking at you out the corner of your eye. It's just like I can
Yeah.
see his eyeballs just over the edge of my keyboard. I'm just like, why are you looking at me like
You got a
that?
cat creeper.
Right. He was being a creep, just like just peeking out.
Just
But
want you to
yeah,
know I'm watching
so
you.
right. So we decided to go ahead and make a series out of Momaru. It's Momaru. Momaru. I'm keep
Mamaru
Mamaru
Hosada.
Hosada's movies. So we did The
Mhm.
Girl Who Left in Time last week. And so we decided to go ahead and just like we're gonna just go ahead and do his movies because they're amazing. They're great. So last week we did A Girl Who Left Through Time. So this week we're doing Wolf Children, which you can watch on Apple TV for $10, or you can watch on Funimation if it decides it wants to show it that day.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Right.
so that's what
Little
we'll be
simple.
talking about. Right. I'm just like, what was going on?
Yeah,
But
girl.
yeah, how's your
Funimation
day
was
been?
PMSing. Oh,
Yeah, Funimation be tripping.
the day actually not so bad. I woke up with like this spark of like productivity kind of thing today.
Right.
Um, so it was kind. It started off good, you know. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I decided to try this new thing, meditation, for 5 minutes before my day
Okay.
starts. It
Okay.
helped a lot.
That's good.
Organize them thoughts because you know we be having a million things going on, especially when you're mom. I feel like you always have stuff in your brain. So
Right.
sometimes you gotta take a minute and like organize them. So yeah, it was pretty good, pretty good.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's a rainy day here today.
Yeah,
I started
same
out the
here.
day running a few errands, but that's about it for the most part. Haven't
Hmm.
really been watching anything extra this week. Oh, I have a female symbol here. I identify
I
as
was
female
wondering
for
what
Women's
the
Day. Yeah, that's
okay.
what it is. It's just like team
Oh,
team female.
teammate. Okay,
Um,
okay.
so yeah, I haven't really been watching anything but Raised by Wolves, pretty much. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
gonna
girl,
be.
Nana,
Oh
Nana.
yeah, you've been watching Nana. So what
I've
episode are you
been.
on now?
I think I made it to 27. So it's where her and Nobu
Mm-hmm.
are officially dating, but she's
Okay.
thinking she broke it off with Takumi, but he's not aware of that. So
Okay. Okay.
I'm like, ooh, how what I don't even know what to expect anymore from this show
Yeah.
right
It's
now, but
really
it's
good.
so good. It's
It's the
so good.
reason it's one of the classics, man. I'm telling you. So
Man, I'm like kind of nervous though a little bit as I get closer and closer to like, well, I'm not towards the end, but I'm like more than halfway through. So
right.
I'm like kind of nervous because I'm like, oh, it's like what's gonna happen? Who's she gonna end up with? Is everybody gonna be heartbroken? Like, oh, is it gonna be a mess? Ooh,
It's messy. It's definitely messy. Um,
don't
but
tell me
no,
that.
it's
I don't
really
know.
good. No, it is.
Yeah,
It's really good though. I just loved it. And then you'll have to read the manga for the rest. I wish they would
for
have
the
like
rest.
finished it, but it was already so many episodes. So I can see
Yeah.
why they like y'all gonna have to read the
Right. Do
manga.
that. Were you satisfied with the ending of it when
I don't
you
think it was
finished it?
finished when I read it. Back when I read it, it was still going.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't complete when I was, reading it, so I never really I don't know if it even finished, I'm not sure, I'll have to look at that, but, yeah, when I was reading it,
Okay.
I did not finish.
Okay.
But yeah, so we'll go ahead and get into the
Right.
discussion about wolf children.
Mhm.
So as usual, we'll go through and give our reactions, review, and rating, the 3 R's, and then we'll get look. Okay. And then we'll get into like the themes of the movie, which is like obviously it's a movie about acceptance.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll start off with the reaction. So what was your reaction to Wolf Children?
It was cute. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know what to really expect from this movie because it's such a different concept for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually thought it was really cute. I thought that the pacing was his pacing on his movies so far are
Yeah.
so good. Like,
Yeah, I think he does a good job where like even though there's not a lot going on, you don't like get that first act feeling of the movie. You don't
yes,
get that feeling of like, okay, we just getting through this first act. It just
right.
really he does do a really good job with pacing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. He does a really good job. And every single time, like it seems to be right on point. And
Mm-hmm.
then so overall, like it's a solid movie. It's a
Yeah.
solid movie. Yeah.
Did you have any like emotional? Was it bittersweet for you? Like, how did you feel like when you watched it? Like, I
Mm.
definitely cry every time I watch this movie. I've
Oh
also seen this
man,
movie a few times. I watched this movie now 3 or 4
four
times.
times. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. It got very emotional for me, of course, when he died, and it was the way
yeah.
he
Spoiler
died.
alert, but this
Sorry,
came out in
guys.
2013. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So yeah, but like like the way that she found him, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
ah, like
And then like
no.
having him be like thrown away in the trash
I know because he
was
died
really
like as a
sad.
wolf. That was really really sad because, and in that moment, I think I felt her pain because to everyone else he was just another dog or an animal, but
Yeah,
to
they thought
her
he was
she's
like a
like,
dog. Yeah.
right. She was like, no, like that's like that's my boo. Like we
Yeah, that was
all
her
love
husband.
him.
Yeah, that was sad
Ah,
to, like,
it
watch
was
him be
so
taken in a
sad.
garbage truck and
Right. And they just kind of like threw him away, like tossed him like it was nothing,
yeah.
you know?
That was sad, of course. Yeah, that was, like,
Really, really
heartbreaking,
sad.
sad. But I think because it happened so early in the movie, of course, after that beautiful montage of their life together,
Yeah.
it was like, that's why you say he's a master of, like, pacing, really, because
Mm-hmm.
even though it happened, like, really early in the movie,
Yeah.
you still had that connection because of that beautiful, like, just montage of him and her life together. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really sad, but you was talking about how he didn't have on shoes. I was like, I've never noticed he was walking around with no shoes on, girl. Like I
I
never
was like,
noticed.
she ain't noticed this
I
this
guess I was
man just
like her. Cause until you said it, I was like, dang, he be walking
I
around
was
no
like
shoes.
I was like, hey, that man walking because his jeans were super baggy. And I was like,
Yeah.
hold on, that's his feet.
Yeah. He was definitely a strange man for her to be
He's
like drawn to him
strange.
in that way.
And
Yeah.
then he came up to the whole school with no shoes on. But
Yeah.
then but then it was kind of short because like after they got together, he started wearing shoes more.
Yeah, she definitely helped him, like, become, like,
Like
more
more of a human
acclimated
being.
to, like, the
Right.
human environment for
Yeah.
sure.
'Cause he was out here wild and just walking the streets barefoot.
Right.
Like I was like,
What
nobody
other
see
what other
this.
moment in the movie got emotional responses from you?
Okay. So when the child protective services was coming to the
Oh, yeah,
door, I was
yeah,
like, no. Like my
yeah,
heart dropped because like, we're moms. And if at any moment if that came to my doorstep, I would be so crushed. I think I would have had the
yeah.
same reaction. Like I would not have opened the door. I would
I
have took
mean,
my
yeah,
key
you
baby.
couldn't, 'cause they were, like,
Um,
they were like little wolves because they were asleep, so you
yeah.
really couldn't.
I would have done the
Yeah.
same thing. Like I would have took my babies and moved to the country.
Yep, and just get away. I just love like segments of Japanese country living. I think I froze up for a second, but I love
Hmm.
little segments of like Japanese country living. Um
Yeah.
I just love seeing that. So I was happy to see that they moved to the countryside and like kind of see that whole part of the movie. Um
Yeah.
and definitely I think it was just like emotional for me like at different points throughout the movie. Definitely every time I watch it, it's for different reasons. Like kind of like all these movies
Hmm.
that we've been rewatching, like I've seen a lot of them. But I definitely think like the theme of acceptance was like really strong in the movie. And like at different points in the movie, you could see that crossword road of do you accept this or not,
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I
Yeah.
think that was like for me seeing the part where she like what was it? Just different stuff, like accepting her daughter wanting
Yeah.
to school and just like accepting her husband's
Yeah.
death, accepting like she just
Yeah.
had to go through so many things. So I think it made me
Mm-hmm.
emotional at different points. And of course the end, like when
Mm-hmm.
Ame decided that he was gonna go live in the wild and he had
Yeah.
to like
He
let
was
him
like,
go.
yes.
That
I
was
was
so
like, oh, that's gonna
emotional.
be me when my babies go to college
Yeah,
and
I
they
think
say
I
I'm
had
gonna
got the
move out.
gif of it when he like went
Yeah.
into the wild.
I love that
And
posture he has right here.
yeah, he was so proud of himself. And so
He
it really
was.
was like very emotional for me watching it. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, my husband did watch it with me. This was his first time watching it. So I was
Oh,
trying to hold it
really?
together like a real G. Yeah, just trying to
Right.
keep it together. I was like, can't be over here,
Right.
do it like this. Yeah, it
You
definitely was.
just
It's
blame it on the
definitely
rain.
Yeah, it was definitely a solid movie. So before we go into
Yes.
our review of the movie, I think it made us emotional at different points, right? Did you have different points in the movie kind of got you feeling
Yeah.
emotional? So we'll
Yep.
play the trailer for the movie, and
Mm-hmm.
then like hopefully we can hold it together because I know they're gonna be playing that music. I know it's coming, and so we'll play the trailer, and then
Mm.
we'll go into our review of the movie.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that music gonna start playing.
It be hitting.
Yeah.
I kind of cheat sometimes. I turn down the volume a little bit
What
when I watch.
when you oh oh
Yeah, because I be feeling it. I be like, ooh, let me turn it down.
yeah, it was just so moving. Okay, so this
Very.
movie came out in 2013. I'm gonna show the Funimation trailer, I think.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna show this 2 minute and 41 second one. All right, let's pause that. All right, let's go ahead and throw this on the screen. So this is the trailer for Wolf Children. Let's go ahead and throw it up there. Well, should we be at the bottom? Let's go to the bottom today. We'll hang out down here. Nah, then I feel like we in the way. We'll go back. All right.
Cut off the screen a little bit there, huh?
Yeah, just cut off the screen. You can hear this, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'd be like trying not to blast the sound, but I just be want to make
Yeah.
sure it's coming through.
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Mother. And it's true. Every word of it. Maybe you'll laugh when I tell you. Or write it off as a fairy tale. It couldn't possibly be true. I mean, how could it? Back then, Mom was a student at a national university in Tokyo.
Excuse me? You didn't fill out a slip. I could grab one for you.
Don't bother. I'm not a student here. 5 people live in that one, and there, just 2. Some families have money, some don't. It'd be nice to have a home, a place where I belong.
I could belong there too, if you don't mind the company.
Hana,
Yeah,
there's something I have to tell you.
I'm listening.
My mother knew the world was full of mysteries, but his heart wasn't one of them. Mom gave birth to me in that tiny apartment they called home, bringing me into the world as the snow fell outside. The following spring, my little brother was born.
Your daddy was special. He was truly one of a kind. If you could only be one thing, would you be people or wolves? I want you to have that choice.
Where are we, Mommy?
This is our new home.
Oh, she's the one who just moved in up there, isn't she?
How long do you think she'll last?
I feel like I'm making it up as I go. Hane, what happened?
What a baby! If a wild boar ever messed with me, I'd beat it up.
Have you run into one?
I peed all over him to show him his
Yuki.
butt.
It's been years now, but she said the time had passed as though in a dream or a fairy tale. To Mom, it had been.
Okay. They didn't play the music, so I don't have to cry. Somebody, y'all better not cry. I did. I did. Hello, hello. I did cry when I was watching the movie. My husband was really looking at me like, "Are you really sitting over here crying?" Like, this is why I don't like to watch movies with him, because he always catch me crying during the movie. But yeah, that was the trailer for the Wolf Children. It came out in 2013. It's a great movie. My kids like it. Of course, it made them cry. So if you ever want to make your kids cry, you can let them watch this movie. But it's a really good movie, really solid. My review of it, I guess I've seen this like 3 or 4 times. I notice something different every time I watch it. I think it has. Oh, I'm like, why is this? It is a masterpiece of a movie. It's really beautiful. The animation and some of the sequences are great. It definitely captures the essence of like country living and like accepting and going through phases of life and growing and children coming of age, and it just has so many things, and it like really showcases it well. So I highly recommend this movie. Like it's kind of quiet. It's not like a ton of like action, just more of like inner struggles and changes of life. But yeah, it's definitely up there for me. It's one of the top movies. So this whole series of, well, what we do on my channel is, I'm an otaku. I'm a self-proclaimed otaku. I know in Japan it's kind of like, it's a stigma to it, but I definitely love all things anime. And I think to understand like an otaku or like anime culture, or take a journey into the world of anime, if you're new to it, I think watching some of these movies that are like highly rated for different reasons are good. Like, it's cool to have the action and the fights and the mechas and all that stuff. And that stuff is important to like anime. But I think watching movies like this gives you a good foundation of some of like how deep anime can be and how moving it can be, and like how the medium also lends itself very well to like touching coming of age stories. You ready to be up here? You adjusting?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. So I was just talking about why in this series I think it's important to go through these movies that we've been going through, because I think it
Hmm.
gives you a good foundation and appreciation of anime. Because a lot of the shows like Shonen Slaps, like, all the action and the stuff, I think everybody kind of knows the anime that have action. But I think watching movies like this give you appreciation and how anime can also tell deep stories and like very dark stories, and just like really also lends itself very well to like these kind of stories. So I think it's important to like watch these movies and like let people know that like it doesn't have to always be packed. Like they tell really good stories. So I was just talking about that while you were gone.
Oh
But
yeah,
and I kind of
I
gave my
agree.
review of the movie. Like, I highly recommend it. This is
Hmm.
another great one from me. So what's your review of the movie before we give our
I
rating?
I would have to say yes. Solid movie. I think that there's a lot of lessons in this one for me personally, especially from the point of view as a mom,
Mhm.
and dealing with growing children who are changing constantly. I think that she dealt with the changes pretty well.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
I could learn a lot of lessons from how she approached the changes with her children.
Mhm.
Like, and you could tell it was still hard for her, but I did appreciate that she was like flexible and open minded and willing to like try.
Mhm. And she like never like really gave in to the sorrow or feeling sorry about herself. I think
She
that
never
you could
did.
see her like choice to smile, instead of crying, as like, oh, you're trying to stuff down your emotion, like the old man said. But I definitely
Hmm.
think that it was more of a point of, I'm accepting this and I'm just gonna go forward.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So that kept
that's
coming up in the movie, like where she had these moments where you would like you just feel like she gonna break down and cry. But Hana always, that's her name. She always just chose to smile and just keep
hmm
going. Yeah.
Yeah, she did. And I think that was cool to like see her like take it on. I feel like it was very graceful.
Yeah.
Um and I feel like that's not easy to do considering
Right.
everything that happened with her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I really did love to see her work so hard for her her kids. Like
Yeah.
she was out there, you know, she was
Yeah.
doing her thing. And like it kind of sparked something in me like man, like she could do it, so can I. So can other
Yeah.
like moms.
She
You
did
know?
whatever it took. She did it whatever was necessary. And I think I was talking about it on a panel last night actually. We were
Mhm.
having a conversation about like the black community. And I feel like a lot of parents like give themselves a pass to wallow in the cards that they were dealt instead of just like
Mhm.
moving forward and like doing what's best for yourself and people. It's just like you want so bad for everybody around you, feel sorry for you, and like kind of as a pass to like I don't know what it is. I guess we'll talk about that more when we get into the theme of acceptance. But I definitely like
Mhm.
love that she just had that attitude, and I think it's important. I think we can all learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
So who would you recommend this movie to, and like what is your rating?
I think I would recommend this movie to pretty much anybody because I think that even if you're not a mom or you're not a parent,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that you could take from the movie. There's a lot of morals. I think there's like values which I appreciate them showing throughout the movie. I think that like even
Mm-hmm.
sometimes this movie is a good way self-reflecting, kind of like, like I like because even on the
Mm-hmm.
part when she said, I barely have time to do anything for myself, it wasn't like she was saying it like in a complaining type of way. She was like
Right.
stating it, but she was accepting it at the same time, but she wasn't mad at it at the same time. And I think that a lot of us can
Right.
take something from different moments in the movie. So I would recommend this to everybody.
Everybody, yeah. I definitely
Yep,
think so.
everybody.
Especially people who've like gone through like hard times and like tough times and just kind of like
Yep.
it definitely gives me the energy of in Frozen 2. Um
Mhm.
when Anna thinks Elsa died, she sings the song The Next Right Thing.
Mhm.
And hey, shout out to the
Hey,
Cubbies.
TP.
But she sings that song, the next right thing, and it's basically about like how to keep going forward when you're just like in the worst moment of your life and you just like that song made me cry every time, girl. Once again, maybe I just be crying, but when I saw Frozen 2, like everybody loves Into the Unknown and like Elsa's song, but like Anna's song, The Next Right Thing, is
Mhm.
like my favorite song in that
It's
movie. Like,
it
cause she
hits.
was like how to like pick myself up when I'm not doing it for you. Cause she like
Mhm.
thought she lost her sister and she always did everything for her sister. She was like, if you're gone, like what's my motivation for even like pick doing this? So it was
Mhm.
just like, girl, that song made me cry. But it's a good
Oh
song. And
man.
this movie definitely has that same kind of like message of like just
Mhm.
one step at a time. Just do the next right thing. Like we gotta eat.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, we gonna be out here making our food. So
Yeah, we're gonna
I definitely
farm.
recommend it. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. And so what do you rate this movie
Ooh,
out of 10?
girl, this one high. I
Okay.
give it a
That's
solid
what I feel
10.
like. That's what I was like. I feel like we just be giving all the movies tens, like 9 tens. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like, y'all
don't think
give all the
anything.
movies. Well, we
Yeah,
didn't like Millennium Actress. We gave like
like
pretty
about.
like 7 because you gave it a 6. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, that was the
Yes.
only one.
I feel like that was the only one. But like to be fair, we're watching the best directors right now. We've
Yeah.
gone through Ghibli movies, and now Mamaru Hosada is like once again like one of the best directors in anime right now in modern anime. And so we have been watching like we started off with the strongest contenders. So
Mhm.
yeah, this movie is great. I mean,
Solid.
yeah, the pacing's good, the story's good, it's
Yeah.
touching, it's like funny, you connect with the characters. There's never a lull where I was like, okay, can we get to the next part? Like I never had that moment in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
give it
me
the same.
neither.
I say I give it I don't know, man. Okay, let me see. Maybe a 9.5. Maybe
Uh,
9.5. Only because I think if the movie was a 10, like for me, when a movie's a 10, I just watch it all the time. Like Spirited
mm-hmm.
Away is a 10 for me, and I watch that movie multiple times a year. I
Yeah.
can't say I have watched this movie 3 or 4 times. And like if it was to pass me, like if Netflix, like if it showed up on it, I probably will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I own it. So yes,
Right.
we'll
Yeah.
see. Maybe I'm about to end up owning all these movies because some of them you can't find anywhere. Like I think I bought Your Name. I think I
Yep.
rented The
Me
Girl Who
too.
Left Through Time. So
Oh yeah, I think
yeah,
I rented. Yeah, that
yeah.
one. But yeah, I could see
So yeah,
myself watching this movie again a good couple
yeah.
times. So
Yeah,
that's
my
why I would
child,
give it
my
like
kids like it too. It definitely pulls kids in too. So,
mm-hmm.
and it's it's
Mm-hmm.
it's sad, but it's not so sad that they can't recover from it. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
also is a good family movie for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
I definitely oh
but yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I appreciate how he doesn't spend too much time on things like even when the husband passed,
Mm-hmm.
we got just enough to feel the weight of like her sadness, and
Mm-hmm.
then we kind of moved on to the next thing, and but it
Yeah.
was in it wasn't like in a non-empathetic
Can
way.
you
It
hear
was
background noise on me for me?
a little bit.
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. So like it was just enough to like, make you feel the weight of her sadness without like being disrespectful and like not showing empathy towards what she was going through. But it was like it paced so well that like you got it, and then you kind of got to move on at her pace. Like you moved on with her as she moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And was I actually appreciated the timing on that. So it was cool. So yeah, so that's just my personal like take on it. If you guys are interested in trying out watching a movie, I definitely say like it's just a good solid movie. The timing, the pacing, all everything was just on point for me. So yeah.
Sorry, I was getting the door closed. It's a little squeaky. But yeah. So what was the you just said that? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think we gave and then like oh yeah, the animation. The animation is beautiful.
so
It
good.
is that same style as The Girl Who Left Through Time. It's the same studio did this. Studio Chizu. And yeah, but there's some sequences in there where they're like I love the running through the snow sequence.
Mhm. Mhm.
I love when they show them as little kids. They were so cute when they would like transform,
Mhm.
like in between when she would like yell at
Yeah,
her mom, like, I want to go for a walk. I'm like, that's my
that's
Tyler right there.
woo, yeah, that's some real stuff, right?
Yeah, I was like, that's her to the T. She's like just like her. So yeah, I definitely. What was one of your favorite like animated moments?
That was one, and then I loved like how they showed the kids growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they changed, but you could still tell it was them.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah.
I see those types of things in animation in anime, I think that's really cool. I think that the person who directed and did the animation
Mm-hmm.
have to be super talented to be able to like still capture that it's the same person but they're growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, I definitely They did a
Yeah,
good job. I love how Ame was a spitting image of his father, and
such
of
a
course,
spitting.
I guess like I don't know everybody. Ame means rain, and Yuki
Hmm.
means snow, and of course
Okay.
Hana means flower. Did they say the
Hmm.
dad's name? I feel
Did
like we
they?
never said his name.
I don't
I don't
remember
know, but
him
I think
his
somebody
name.
might have said his last name. But yeah, so that's the meanings of their name, and I think it's important that you know that because it's important to the plot. definitely
Mm-hmm.
turning points in their lives are related to what they're named after. So yeah, I think I just wanted to point that out because I was just like, well, maybe people don't know Yuki means snow and Ame means rain. So
I
just
didn't.
point that out. Yeah, so their names
Yeah.
have a meaning related to that. See, we done closed the door, and now the cat want to go out, and then let me close it the other way. He'll want to come back in. So, but yeah, so we'll go to the next segment where we start talking about the themes of the movie. Let my cat open the door. He's letting himself out. But yeah, so cats are like velociraptors. They like open doors. It's just weird. So we're gonna go ahead. So before we go into the next part, if you enjoy our content, this is our chill day. We was really cutting up on Sunday. So we coming in here acting like we got some sense today. But if you enjoy this content, make sure you feed the algorithm, like, subscribe, hit the bell so that you know when I go live. And yeah, it just helps other people who may like this content find us. And we've been getting new subscriber lately. So hello to everybody. And of course, when you interact in the chat, you say hello. We love interaction from the chat. When we have open panels on days like this, we love for y'all to come up. So we're always welcoming new faces. And of course, I stream 3 times a week. So I'm going to put my, oh, you know what? I couldn't load it up, but I stream 3 times a week. I'm thinking about changing the Monday to Tuesday, but we'll see how I feel about it because that movie Monday just rolls off the tongue. So I'm like, well, what would we call it? But anyway, I stream Sundays, usually Mondays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. And on Thursday, we'll be watching My Dress Up. Well, we'll be reviewing the latest episode of My Dress Up, Darling. And we do different things related to shoujo and josei anime. Last week, we played a Sailor Moon drinking game, which we would have killed ourselves if we would have kept going because that was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure what
Would've
we'll do
been
this week, this Thursday, but
YouTube wasted.
yeah, YouTube wasted, And then on Sunday, we're going to be talking about our experience as Black anime fans, blurs, and Black cosplayers. So we're going to be talking about some like anime, just like our experiences and our peeves and, some of our gripes with the community and our experiences. So it should be an interesting show. We're trying to do something a little deeper this weekend. We've been having a lot of fun. So we try to like throw some not serious topics in there, but try to throw something in there. So yeah, that's my schedule.
Dive a little deep.
Yeah. I'm going to take myself off for a second. And
I want to take a moment to say hello to We Argue Sports podcast from the chat. I did not get to say hello. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I
and
think
yes,
he swung by while you was gone talking about We Better Not Cry.
Yeah, we're
right
gonna
back.
try. We're gonna do our best to not cry, but I can't make no promises. So things get a little emotional. Okay. Well, welcome to the chat, Tommy B. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's you, Tommy B. She don't know you, Tommy B, though.
Yeah.
This is Tommy B. He can come on here, his fancy name. We already spoke, but yeah. Yes, this is Tommy B. So, cool dude. He has a sports podcast,
Yeah, which I assume.
I like to argue, but I don't do sports.
Right. Well, if you don't know much enough about it, he can't really argue. So
I can argue about anything. Give me a topic.
Oh, well.
That's my talent. Look,
right.
I don't even be knowing what I'm talking about. Just be sitting up there arguing for argument's
I can
sake.
argue to a certain point. You gonna get me somewhere though. So I just be like,
Right.
if I can't finish strong, let me just not start.
Right. So let's go into our theme. So the big theme of this movie is acceptance. Of course, we kind of talked about that. And you see it at various points throughout the movie. And so I'm going to go through and just talk about the 3 points. Usually we go through like 3 talking points related to the theme. Once again, it's always open panel. So if you've seen this movie, you want to give your review or you have anything to say about the topic, let me know. I'll drop the link in the chat. So the 3 points I want to talk about with acceptance is accepting your true nature, accepting the cards you've been dealt in life, and accepting help. So I think those are 3 big themes in this movie. And of course, we like to talk about it in realistic, real life terms and like how we connect to those themes. Not necessarily like, yeah, this is an anime movie, but we have also experienced those things. And
Mhm.
so I have a soapbox about acceptance that I'm not gonna go into because I kind of went into it last night. Um, all I'm say is y'all made me sick. Okay. People
What?
make me sick. I'm trying to go back to my home planet. Honestly. Honestly.
What?
Scotty beam me up. That's gonna be the end of the soapbox. But yes, go
What?
ahead. So we'll go to the first one. Accepting. Which one do you want to tackle first? The cards you've been dealt, help, or your true nature?
Let's do help last because that one cut deep just saying the word. Like
I know you about to cry. Help.
I don't know
Why
how
did they
to
spell
ask
help?
for it. Right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So our first accepting topic, we can do accepting your true nature or
Mhm.
accepting the cards you were dealt, which a lot of people
Okay.
be struggling with that one too.
Girl,
So
that's a struggle. Let's talk about it.
acceptance be whooping y'all ass. That's all I'm saying.
Boy, I'm talking about
Cooking
more
rice,
than I
look, cooking
right.
rice and accepting the cards you been dealt be whooping y'all ass.
Right.
So they
Ooh,
toe for toe. So which
right. I don't
one? Which
know.
one?
Mm. Let's do the
Come on.
cards you've been dealt. Let's dive into it. Let's get into it.
Okay. All
Because
right. So
that one is a struggle. Okay.
yeah, so that's definitely a part of this. So in the movie, I always start off with the theme conversation with telling how that showed up in the movie, and then we'll go into our lives. So in the movie, the mother, her husband was killed, and she had a new baby, and still they were only a year apart. So she had a newborn and basically a 18-month-old maybe, and her husband died, and they already didn't have a lot of money, so she had to then pick herself up from there. And then she also was dealing with raising like half human, half wolf kids without their wolf father to tell her how this goes. So she was like left on her own. She was now single mother, widowed, hardly no
Mm,
money, couldn't really reach out for help in some ways because she couldn't tell people she was dealing with wolf kids. And what else? Just
yeah.
accepting like she had to move to the country and like learn how to do this stuff and not know what she was doing, and eventually accepting when her kids had to choose their paths and go the opposite way. So that's kind of the cards that Hana was dealt in the movie that she had to learn to accept, and she accepted them with grace. And throughout the movie she said that she always decided that she would put a smile on her face. She wouldn't cry. She would just put a smile on her face and move forward. So that's how she accepted the cards she was dealt. So do you have any experience with the cards you were dealt, and did you ever go through a period where you struggled with that? Oh wait, you muted. Oh, okay. You muted
Oh,
yourself. You gotta unmute yourself. Okay,
oh,
go ahead.
my bad. I would have to say this. Yes, different moments and that I have gone through that. Um, and I did not understand the whole idea of why change was so hard until I had to deal with it, myself.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, becoming a mom, I would have to say was the first hardest one because I came from a hustler. I was a hustler at a young age. I learned how to just get out there, take the job I needed to make some money for myself, take care of myself. Then I become a mom and I'm like, oh shoot, I can't hustle like I used to hustle. It's almost like a shock. Like, dang, I can't, I really can't
Yeah,
do
you had to
this.
sit that ass down, didn't you?
I
I
sure
know
did.
you was mad about it too.
Woo.
She was mad about it, y'all.
And I was like so hard headed that I kept trying and I kept running into the wall. And I was like, I'm gonna try again. Run into the wall again. I was like, okay, all right, fine.
But
I
I think that's
surrender.
like it is hard because you can feel like you are accepting it. Like I think when you're in the moment, you don't feel like you're not accepting it. I think you feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're just trying to triumph. But I think like is that how you felt like before I say the next part? Is that how you felt like in the at the time? What did you think in your mind that you were doing? Like
I I thought that in my mind that was me just trying to figure it out.
mm,
Like trying to still do what I was
Tommy
doing.
be laughing. Tommy B, why you laughing? You won't come up
Why?
here.
What?
He's sitting over here laughing. He's the
He's
whole
just
clown.
tripping out at us right now.
Probably because I said you need to sit your ass down. And you had a good man who
Sure
was
did.
be like, if you don't stay home, he wanted her to stay home. He's
Okay.
like, you don't have to work. I have to. She was really
I
holding
have to
on. I'm sorry, I'm
survive for
putting you on Front Street,
myself.
but
Right.
yeah, I'm putting you on
But
Front Street.
but this is why, okay, let me let y'all know. This is why it's good to recognize trauma, because a lot of the way that I was didn't know this at the time, was trauma
Right.
from my childhood of getting used to people not doing what they supposed to do for me, or like, people not being there, people not fully taking care of me. So I'm stuck in
Right.
this mindset since I was about maybe 12, 13 years old. And here I am at 21. And I got to like completely just shift and change that whole mindset, when it's been with me for 8 whole years. So I had to kind of get out of that. Like I had to understand that, oh, wait, this man chose me for a reason. Like he put a ring on my finger. He married me.
Right.
That means, hey, I committed to it. Just like how I was committed, he was too. But it was hard for me to
Right.
accept that because I had been let down. So I was like, I'm not about to get let down again. It's like I had this little wall.
And so
wall.
when you were in the situation, right? So you was in the situation. Like
Yeah.
I think for me too, I think I definitely had to learn with acceptance. Like I say, y'all, I'm y'all. Like we still
all gotta
learn.
learn it. Right?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
accept like new role. It's not always like bad stuff. Like you said, it's a new role. Like for me, when I got married,
Right.
that whole like, well, I was already a mother because I had my
Right.
oldest. But that wife mother combo was hitting me
Right.
like
Whew.
a damn
That it was
like
dragging
Street
her, okay, y'all?
fighter combo or something.
Right. Every
Yeah,
time
like it
it
was
came
beating
to
me
her,
up.
she
Like
was like,
that combo was whooping my ass. Right. You ever played like against like a little kid in like Street Fighter or
yeah,
something, and they just keep sweeping, like they just keep
yeah.
kicking like low on the ground. They just keep, every time you walk up, you
It
know
just
they just
catch.
button mashing and they gonna keep doing the same move, but you still getting your ass beat. That was me. Like
Yeah.
I just was constantly just like could not accept, and it didn't feel like I wasn't accepting it though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wore the title proudly. Like I was
Right.
happy to be a wife and mother, but I think there was some parts of me that there was just like, I don't know how you get to that weird spot where you're like, of course, like you're like, of course I'm happy. Don't I look
Right.
happy? And everybody's
Right.
like, no,
No, not really.
no,
No,
you
you
look
don't
kind
look
of
like you
crazy.
like doing
Yeah,
what you're
you look
doing
kind
right
of crazy. Yeah,
Oh, Tommy
yeah.
B said, yeah, I would
A lot of
agree. A
women
lot
go
of
through it.
women.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
hard.
mean, a
It's
part of my
hard.
soul still dies every time I got a cook. I'm telling you, like I will never. I mean, I
But
accept it. That's like part of this is this is what you sound like when you've reached the space of acceptance. Like I accept it. A part of my
a
soul
part
gonna
of her
die, but
soul dies.
hey,
Hey,
I die daily. I die a
I'm
little bit
accepting it
daily
though.
when I cook.
Right.
Right. But I also have things that feed me, my spirit. I do this. I have creative outlets. My husband definitely allows me to be myself. And, so that obviously balances out. So I'm willing to do things I don't want to do, because I'm getting something back and I'm able to feed myself. So that's to me acceptance. I don't think a lot of people get to hear women like who really have come to accept it and not try to give the politically correct answer. Like I gotta feed these kids every damn day, multiple times.
Be like, dang, I gotta figure everybody else's life out, including mine too. God dang it, it's a lot.
Right. And you accept it. So what's
Yeah.
something that you like outside of when you were pregnant, you had to stay home? Is there anything like in this phase of life that you have struggled with acceptance or more recently have come to accept?
Yeah, I think it was more so like just accepting that there's something about my personality that allowed me to be in the position that I'm in, like when it comes to my kids, when it comes to my household. I'm a big believer that like I'm a big believer in God won't give me stuff that I can't handle. So I think
Mm,
I'm like, well, if he allowed me to have this, obviously he saw something in me that said, okay, you can handle this. And I just kind of was like, okay,
right.
I've accepted that. And I'm like, well, let me dig a little bit deeper into myself and like figure it out.
Yeah,
Figure
get it
out what it
together.
is. Yeah, like
But I think
it
that's
kind
why,
of.
like, you hear a lot of like religious people like on everywhere. I mean, everywhere. This is America.
Yeah.
But I think that that's the energy that you want to hear from like people who
Mm-hmm.
believe in God. I think that that's where it becomes important. I think when you do have some kind of belief, or
Yeah.
believing in yourself, but it
Yeah.
all trickles back down to the same, that you just have to have faith that like you can do it. And I think
Yeah.
that's for me the biggest part that spirituality or some belief in God should do for you. It should help you not be in that place where
Mm-hmm.
you're wallowing in like your self-pity and like, oh, I
Yeah.
was dealt these cards. I feel like that's really where your spiritual belief should shine. But some
Yes.
people it don't be feeling like
Yeah. You be
they
like,
believe in anything, because I just be like, all I
yeah.
hear is a lot of complaining and just
Yep.
wallowing and just whining about the cards you were dealt. We black, so we definitely.
Yeah. We.
So we talked about things we've had to accept. But what do you he said my hey yella
Hey,
konnichiwa
Yella.
at work listening to y'all trying not to get fired from laughing. I've had to accept that this kitty litter I bought recently is shit, because
Oh.
it does not work. And I'm like really annoyed with that. Sometimes you gotta accept stuff that make you mad and just move
Yeah,
on. You
you
can't go
do.
back and change it. I shouldn't have bought that shit.
Yes.
But hey, here
Right.
we are. And I'm smelling cat piss. It's really
Right. Look, I'm sitting, I'm kind of super sad, like so salty about my couch right now downstairs.
Oh yeah, I know. And see, try to warn you, but it's always an acceptance. So what's something like as on the we're women, so let's just speak to Black women experience real quick. And it's Women's
Yes.
Day. So what's something that you see a lot of Black women struggle that you feel like it, just like even your personal friends, like have you
Yeah.
noticed that your ex-friends, friend circles oftentimes wallow in something across the board? Like we say, there's
Mm-hmm.
struggles women have. What's something you see that you wish people could
Um,
accept and move on from?
Accept yourself first, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't try to play it up, play it down. Say what it is. For instance, if
No,
you
never that. What?
what right, look,
No.
girl, what you
Take it
mean to
to the
tell me?
grave.
You mean to
Take
tell
my
me I gotta look
yeah.
in the mirror and tell myself I'm a gold digger? Yes, you have to,
Hey.
because that's what you are.
I mean, since when is one money a bad thing?
That's what you want. If you
I
come
mean, if
out
you gonna
well,
go for it anyway, why try to why try to be like,
don't
no?
why try to fake the funk? Right. Because
Yeah,
then I
that's
feel like when you don't accept it, when you don't accept yourself, and then you get
I'm gonna fight this cat.
uh
Go ahead.
right when what you are confronts you,
Mm-hmm.
you are in denial at that point about what you are.
Right.
Because it's like you're saying, well, I'm not a piece of cake, but cake keep coming to you. So what are
Oh,
you?
you mean trash? Yeah,
Right. Right.
girl, you know me. It's like,
She say, look,
so
look, she gonna say
everybody
trash.
around you is trash. Everybody you date is
So
trash, but somehow you're
you're
not
not.
trash. I
Right. So you
I
mean you tell
feel
me
like
you at
that's
the
true in all regards, though. It's like people be
yeah,
like, "Well, I'm
I
not
don't
an
understand.
asshole," and you be like,
Right.
"But
But
everybody who has met you thus far has called you an asshole. All your exes called you asshole, and you're single. You're an asshole. Like maybe, just maybe you're an
maybe,
asshole.
yeah,
Just maybe."
maybe that's just what you
Maybe you're
are.
mean. Like
Right.
maybe you are lazy. Maybe you are a procrastinator. Like I just want people to accept the negative traits about themselves. I have
Yeah.
negative traits that I have come to accept. And like
Right. Yeah.
it's
And
much
then
better to just accept them, and then you can work around them or like mitigate them
exactly. You
so they don't
can't.
take over your life. Yeah.
You can't. Like when you can just honestly say, okay, this is what I am. How can I work with this? Sometimes the answer and the solution to the problem is not to try to change it. Sometimes the solution is what can I do to work with this? You got the cat creeper going on still.
Wish I could show y'all this cat right now on camera. I'll be right back.
You're doing the
But
most.
go ahead. Yeah, keep going.
So yeah, so I mean, I think that when you just don't accept that that's what you are, and you can't even say the statement out loud and be honest about it. If it comes your way, you're going to constantly be in denial because you're trying to, it's like you're putting on this veil. You're trying to like make it appear a certain way, or you're trying to be like my Bree say, politically correct, when really if you just say what it is, a lot of the times it'll be easier for you to find solutions or ways to work around what it is. But it's almost like trying to problem solve without having the correct problem.
Right. And most people done already peeped that you crazy or something wrong with you.
Right.
So.
Like, okay, so
I think it's
Right.
even worse when you like notice things about people and like you say it, and not even like I'm just picking on you, Wave. Just be like, hey, you know,
right.
and they'll be like,
Yeah.
no, me.
No.
And I
never
feel like
that.
that's worse. Like I feel like
It
it's kind
is.
of worse to just be like, no. Like that to me speaks to a lack of insight. And I think that's a very bad, like, introspection, insight. I think that's a bad
It
trait.
is.
So if I
It's
say
really
I'm
bad.
noticing something, or everybody done said that, and you still just like, oh no, not me. I think that's
Me?
weird as fuck. So
Yeah.
um
And yeah, and that's why I say you be in denial.
right. Yeah. It's kind of weird to me.
It's weird.
So let's go to the next theme of the acceptance of your true nature. And
Mhm.
so throughout this movie, you have M.I.N.U.T.E, which they're half human, half wolves, and they can transform between the two willingly. As they get older, they have control over it and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
they, Yuki was a girl, and actually, like, growing up, she was the more wild one. You would think that she would be the one who would choose the life of a wolf in the end, but it actually ended up being she chose to live her life as a human for the most part, and like just kind of go into society and be a normal young woman or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then Ame, he was more timid and shy and like, fragile as a child. And you would think that he would choose not to be a wolf, but something awakened in him and he ultimately chose to be a wolf.
Mhm.
And live his life as a wolf and just like leave
That
human
was his
society
personal decision.
altogether. And then
Yep.
Hana had to accept her role as a single mom who was widowed and was raising kids and didn't have a lot of money, and like had to carry the weight of mother and father to the capacity in which she could, because we know you can't be both. Um, and so they all had to accept their true role. So I think one thing I noticed when I was watching the movie was of course I identified with Yuki in the movie, because her being a girl, she was the more wild one, and she was more like proud of her wolf nature
Yeah.
when she was
Yeah.
younger. And it wasn't until she went to school and got around other girls that they started making her feel like, oh, girls don't like this, girls don't like that, and because you do, you're not a girl.
Yeah.
And so she quickly learned that if she wanted to have girlfriends, she had to kind of assimilate and just try to be like kind of everybody else. And she eventually settled into that role by the end and chose that path for her life. So I definitely like identified with that. What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same. Well, yeah, because I would have to say, for me, it wasn't necessarily with school where I
Mm-hmm.
kind of had to do that, but it's more so when I really started living in like the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I had to accept that I could be myself, but
Mm-hmm.
in some environments, I had to kind of dial it down just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't
Yeah.
be that, like bold as I was in high school. I couldn't take that same thing to the workplace all the time because it just
Yeah.
was not the place for it.
Right.
And I think that it's good to learn the balance between like yourself, being yourself, but also being a functioning adult in society at the
But
same
I
time.
think the movie kind of speaks to that. Can you really do both ever? I think like the dad, he was doing both. But as you can see, I think he experienced true happiness with his wife, with Hana, but like he lived a lot of his life not being his true self. I think he was living like as a human. But he didn't wear
Yeah,
shoes, so maybe he was kind of trying to do both. I think he was kind of toeing the line in his life.
he was.
And you see how it ended for him ultimately, like when his true nature took over because he had the babies and he was trying to feed them, catch food for them.
Yep.
He died because they were like in the city and stuff. Had they been in the country, he might have been fine.
He
But
probably been fine. Yeah.
I guess the question in the movie, right? Like, can you really walk the line and be both? I don't feel like you can.
I don't
Or
think you
maybe
can.
it's just
I
the
don't think you
path.
can be both evenly. No, I think
No.
one or the
Yeah.
other is going to have more
Yeah.
weight than the other one.
Yeah.
Like for like even for and then depending on the path that they chose would depend on the weight which one would be. So like
Right.
how Hana chose
Yeah.
to wait, is it Hana?
Yeah.
No,
No. Yuki chose
Yuki.
to be
Yuki
human,
chose to
basically.
be more human, so 90% of her life was gonna be living like a human.
Right.
But then her brother, Ume, chose to
Ame.
be Ame chose to be
Hmm.
Wolf, so 90% of his life was gonna be Wolf, you know?
Yeah. I don't think
So
he
I don't
coming back. So
now he said, nah, bro, this is what I need to
yeah,
be
he's
up.
like clothes, all that.
Right.
I'm good.
Oh man, for real.
Uh-uh.
He was like, now
Yeah.
I'm just be full wolf.
Yeah. I definitely think too it's like a difference between being male and female. I mean, I can't speak to that. I'm not a dude, but I do feel like I mean, of course, I'm sure men have their thing that
Yeah.
they have to learn to stuff down to assimilate into society. And they don't get to
Yeah.
be their true selves either. But I can't really speak to that struggle. But I do, like I said, once again, I definitely experienced that, like Yuki, almost to the same degree because I had brothers. I grew up with brothers and I enjoyed playing with my brothers. And so I guess I had the same hobbies they had. I gamed and we played and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. And I was a tomboy.
Yeah.
And so, but for me, it was kind of like I was not pressed about it like Yuki. I'm just like, man, fuck y'all. Like these little
Right.
girls, like y'all boring as fuck. I still mostly feel that way. Like I feel like most females don't be doing shit. Like to the point where I need to assimilate to try to hang out with y'all. I'm good.
Yeah. I'd be
So like
like,
I
this
feel
all
like
y'all
for
doing?
me, yeah, I went the
Yeah.
Yuki path, but I was like, girl, I'm about to be a wolf at the house, man. I like never, I just never assimilated. I was like, because the part where she brought him a snake or she brought them the box of the bones, like, girl, that was me. Like, look, why we playing this video game? And girls be like, ew, video games are
Right.
for boys. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay,
like,
girl, guess I'm gonna hang out with
gone.
the boys.
Right. I would have to agree. Like for me, I was girly,
Mm-hmm.
but if you said, "Come on, let's go climb some trees, let's go
Yeah,
play in the river," I'd be like, "Oh, throw off my dress, let's go."
yeah, yeah. And
I
I
go
think that
play.
is a struggle. Like until I got older, like you do kind of feel like you are choosing.
Yeah.
And now at this point in my life, I like my gender is not related to my interests and what I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
doing. Like I'm still very much a female. Like people always ask this question, like, what makes a man a man? What makes a woman? I was born one. That's it. I
Right.
mean,
That's
I
it.
was born one. I identify as one. That's it. That's all it is. I don't really
Yeah.
care if you think I'm woman enough.
Woman enough. Yeah. Like what? Like, huh?
Yeah.
Woman enough? Like,
I mean, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Or like I'm the
Mm-hmm.
picture of what a woman should be, like kick rock.
Right.
I don't really care. I
Right.
don't care. I just really don't. And like I guess because also we go through that with being black. Oh, you're not black enough. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I guess I'll just be brown. That's fine.
Right. Right. I'd be
What
like,
about
okay,
you?
I've had comments come to me like you ain't thick enough. I'm like, "Psst, okay, somebody think I am. All right, cool. Or or you a little too thick. Well, okay then. I'm not for you.
It's always going to be somebody out there. And so I think like the acceptance of your true nature, like just accept who you are. Like just be authentic who you are. There's some, I mean, now I do believe there's somebody out there for everybody. Now, the
Yes.
question is, do you want to be with your equal at this moment in your life? Like,
Right.
I definitely think that someone can change depending on where you are in life and how
Yeah.
much work you've done on yourself. So, like,
Yeah.
I believe there really is somebody out there for everybody at every stage of your life. So if you raggedy, it's gonna be your raggedy equal that you can be with. So like there's always gonna be somebody out there you could be with. But I think that's comforting because you don't have to necessarily change if you like
Yes.
yourself. You don't have to
Exactly.
change.
Right. And I think that could be very a slippery slope when
Hmm.
when you choose to not accept yourself, your true nature,
Right.
then you're in danger of not having any identity, because then you're out here trying to be what you think somebody else thinks that you should be instead of just being who you feel like you should be, because ultimately it's going to be more sustainable if you're just true to yourself, because you're going to be yourself regardless if you're true to yourself. If you're
Yeah.
not being true to yourself, then you could be today, be this way today, and then in 2 weeks you could be something else.
Yeah, you do tend to just get caught in the wave of like being
Yep.
whoever you're around or whatever you're taking in. You're much more like susceptible to that when you're not strong in who you are and your
Yeah.
identity. And
I
like
think.
you
Yeah.
can't, I think we talked about this like off camera, like you cannot put on a role. Like
Nope.
your role you
Just
play in life cannot become who you are.
who
You
you
have
are,
to have your own set identity outside of like your
like your
roles.
stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
be okay with it.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
kind of have to be unapologetic about it to some degree, because
Yeah.
that's when
Like
you get the most fulfillment out of it,
right, like Ame at the end. I mean, I think
Yep.
he was just unapologetically a wolf. I think there was like this moment where she was like, "You can't, because you're not a," and she realized she was gonna say, "You're not a wolf," and it was
Right.
like,
But she was
"But
like,
I
oh,
am," but he is,
like,
and
oh,
she like,
dang.
yeah,
Yeah.
like she had to accept that like her kids were both, and so they could
Yeah.
choose. You could hit a rooster.
Yes.
I think you have to like pick, like she had to accept that her kids were gonna be unapologetically one or the other, and they did choose opposite paths. So I would love to
Hmm.
see like how it panned out for them, just like as like
Yeah.
what happened. Do they come together to meet for dinner sometime? This rooster really back here going off. Like
Your
I don't
rooster
know.
has a lot to say today.
Yeah, that rooster back there going off, buddy. I don't know what he see, but yeah.
Girl.
So I think she knew her kids would go two different paths, but I think I think she still struggled with it until it hit her in the face. Like she almost
Yes.
killed herself chasing after him.
Yes, like it's my baby. And I'm like, oh, when she said that, that hit too, because I think that's kind of similar to what we as parents go through when our children like start being more independent, and we feel like we still have we have a hard time of like doing that severance thing. I think we get separation anxiety, like, wait, you're not
Yeah.
ready. But then you stop back and be like, hold on, this is a whole grown 16, 17, almost 18-year-old.
I mean,
They
accepting your
good.
children's true nature also is a challenge for a
Yep,
lot of people.
it
And
is.
I definitely saw that. And I mean, people sometimes you think you raising them a certain way and they go another way. And I know a lot of parents struggle with like accepting their children's true nature as well. So,
Right.
that's also a
Yeah.
struggle for a lot of
This
people,
is
especially in this day and age. We
yes.
learn more and the world is more fluid and everything, which
Yes.
I live for it. I think we have to evolve. I think that when people can stop worrying about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with them, we'll be better off.
Yeah.
And,
And
and that
ultimately,
goes always. I'm not
yeah.
biased to any side. Like, don't worry about me, worry about yourself. But I
Yeah.
definitely feel like, hey, child, be what you want to be. I could
Do
care
you,
less.
boo?
Yeah, I could care
I
less.
mean,
Just don't hurt nobody.
don't
That's it.
please don't do that. I think the most important thing for me raising like boys, especially, I had three things, or two main ones. I don't want y'all to be out here just being disrespectful, especially to women, but just, I want y'all to be some nice, courteous gentlemen. Because if somebody snatch you up, I want them to get a nice gentleman. I don't I don't want you to be disrespectful. And I
Right.
think that like I was more concerned about the instilling those values. And then everything else, I was like, look, you'll figure it out.
I mean,
Don't
their
stress
dad's
it.
gonna have to kind of teach them some of it too. It's not for you to really teach them.
It's not.
Like they're
And I
men. They're
think I
gonna be
had to
men.
realize that.
Yeah.
Like I knowing your role, like knowing what like I said, understanding yourself also helps you to understand how you play a part in even your children's lives. Like,
Right.
okay, this is me right here. I got you on this right here, but this part,
Yeah. Your daddy.
that's your daddy. Yep.
Yeah. I'm raising 3 girls. Well,
So
two,
yeah.
two full time, and then my bonus daughter. But
Mm-hmm.
I still struggle with what do I want to teach them in some way. But I
Yeah.
think through life, I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm just like, okay, it's really not up to me, like what I want them to be. It's
No,
kind
it's
of
not.
like really like the principles that I want to instill in them. So, like I said,
Exactly.
I always want them to know, like, I mean, it's hard because really the knee jerk gut reaction of what I want to teach my daughters are kind of the opposite of what the general population feels like a girl should be right now. Because I really just want to
Mm-hmm.
be like, girl, do you listen to your gut and fuck these people?
Right.
That's really kind of what I want to say. But in the spirit of cooperation, you kind of got to teach them to be cooperative and work in a team
Right.
setting, work in a team environment, work with other people. But if anything, I want to teach them the way if you want to do something, if you're saying you want to do it, like you have to understand what that
What it-
means, what it means to cooperate with your own goals. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you see a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times people say they want stuff, but they don't really know how
Right.
to function in the thing that they want. Like you
Yeah.
say, a lot of people say they want to be married, but then like when it comes to the function of being, it's like you're kind of working against what you
What
want.
you're saying you want. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
anything, I try to steal into them like, okay, you say you want this. My job now is to point out to you every time you're working against what you're saying you want. So that's what I kind of try to do with my kids. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you saying you want this for yourself. This wasn't a
Right.
goalpost I gave you. So if you're saying you want this, then why are you doing this? Because now
Exactly.
you're in cognitive dissonance. Like you're not, girl, you're not beyond these kids.
Oh yeah, I
But
know.
you
Look.
say you want to do this, but you doing this. So how this working? Like I
Right.
don't
Yep.
see because we can plot out this path. Let me help you because I have my frontal lobe fully developed. Let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
how this goes. If you literally
Mm-hmm.
do nothing towards your goal, you're not gonna get there. Then you're gonna
Nope.
wallow in self-pity and shame. Then we go back to the first point of you not accepting the cards you were dealt. And sometimes you not accepting the cards you dealt yourself,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's the
That's
one thing as a parent I think I have decided that I take seriously
yes.
for sure.
Same here. I don't I think that the more that I dive into accepting myself,
Mm-hmm.
the more that I can help my children to accept themselves, but
Right.
also at the same time learn how to work around your strengths and your weaknesses.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that like it helped because I had to break down like, look, if you have a job, you have a boss. If you slack and don't come to work one day just because you're tired or you don't feel like it, you might not have a job when you go back.
Right.
There's no guarantee that you will. And sometimes some of them might feel sorry, give you a warning, you might, but
Yeah.
that's not a guarantee.
And nobody
So
owes you a second chance either,
nobody owes you anything. So
or
it's
even an explanation.
no, no. And I had to explain it to them because I had to get them out of this whole thing of like asking me why I'm telling them to do something. And
Right.
I'm like, look, I understand that in order to be successful, you have to have a system. And if your system is not good,
Your nose running. What you up,
it
Miss
ain't gonna be
Smith?
good.
Them allergies, yeah.
Oh, girl, look, this is my allergies
Yeah.
going into
I know it's
Tuesday.
allergy season. Yeah, we over here fucked
Woo!
up too. But yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
but no, yeah, thanks. But yeah, like I just had to like let them know, like, you can't just breathe through. Like when I say we gotta grind because
Mm-hmm.
you lost time, that means that you might have to lose some free time. You might have
Yeah.
to grind it out for a minute, which means that yes, you may have to spend more hours doing something that you don't want to do. But guess what?
Right.
That's just what it is. And
You got to
technically,
balance it out. If you spend all that time not doing it when you're supposed to, that time got to come from somewhere.
you
I
gotta
mean,
come. You gotta make it up now.
time is undefeated. So
It's not. It's
you can,
undefeated, and
yeah,
yeah. And I told
you
him, I
can
said,
fight that.
failure is not an option. So
Right. You can fight
we
that
gonna
battle
be
if you want, but
grinding.
you're going to lose every time. So,
You gotta grind. You gotta grind. That's just what you gotta
right.
do. And that's with
That's
anybody.
true.
That's not just you, not just me. That's anybody. If you want something and you trying to accomplish something, sometimes you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. I said
That's
I
true.
haven't played the video game in like 2-3 weeks now because
I mean,
I
sometimes
got
you
stuff
got
to
time
do.
and sometimes you don't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's just how the
Yeah,
cards
it's
are. It's
okay.
just the cards you were dealt. So
That's
it
it.
is
And
what
I'm
it
okay with
is.
it. It is what it is. But
Before
I'm gonna
we,
feel good when it's done though.
right. Before we move on to the last theme talking point, I'm just gonna put this picture of Ame. Remember when they were fighting?
Oh
And I think that's
yeah.
when the mom really like realized, like, oh wow, like
Wow.
they
Yeah.
are wolves, like because they were fighting in the house, their
Yeah.
last fight. And I think there was a point of like I thought it was cool that the last time that Yuki really willingly transformed into a wolf outside of emotional outbursts was on the snow day. And the
Mm-hmm.
last time Ame transformed into human was on the rainy day. So they
Oh
ended up
yeah.
living up to what their name meanings were, was an important turning point in their life. Like when they chose their path on the snowy day, I think was the last time she really was a wolf. But she, besides the time when they fought,
Yeah.
when they were fighting in the house, she never turned into a wolf again after that snowy day.
She didn't. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point.
until they fought. And then Ame once again never turned into a human again after that very
After
rainy
that
day.
rainy day. Yeah,
Yeah. So they lived up to their names in that
they
way.
did. I thought it was
Um
interesting. Oh,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I thought that it was interesting that when he made that decision,
Mhm.
Ame
Ame.
made the
Mhm.
decision to be like a wolf,
Mhm.
it was almost like everything cleared up. The rain cleared up. The sun
Yeah.
came out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I
And
thought
he
that
was
was
living
very interesting.
majestically.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was. It was almost
Yeah.
like the calm after the storm, I want to say. Like,
And that's Yuki. Yeah.
and that's, yeah. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I
That,
think and but now just to put this in perspective, he was 11. I think he was 10 or
yes.
11 and Yuki was, well, by the end of the movie she was 12, so he was 11.
Uh
So
huh.
let's not act like this mom wasn't legit, because once again she had to accept that she did not have human kids, because in human age 10 is not an adult, but in wolf age it is.
It is. Yep.
So it was kind of like, also like I could really understand like how she was extra pressed. Like these weren't 18-year-olds. Like this
Yes.
is Ame was 11. Like I have a 12-year-old going on 13. I like that would be like her being like, I'm gonna go live in the wilderness.
Yeah.
I'd
You
be
like,
like, yeah. So
my,
like that's
right.
the age they were. So like just even to understand even more like why Hana struggled with this is because like they were still literally still babies, like 10-year-old, 11-year-old,
Right. Yeah.
you know. So I did want to point that out because I think that's an important point to like realize that she ultimately did have to accept that they were like wolf children, not
Children.
human children,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
a 10-year-old human child would not be going off on their
Going
own to
out in
live in
the,
the
right.
yeah. So
Yes.
that was an important point. I just had to make sure I mentioned it.
I would agree. Yeah. Like she had to accept it way sooner than
Yeah,
most of us
basically half the
moms.
time. Yeah, because she didn't have till
Yeah.
18. So I know that had
Nope.
to be tough. But so the
Yes.
last point of acceptance is accepting help. So in the movie, Hana, once again, she was widowed. She was left with the kids. She moved to the
Yep.
country and she didn't know anything about country life. So she had to accept help from her neighbors, to her community, to rally for her to feed her kids and like just
Yep.
give her the knowledge she need and to get jobs and everything. So Hana had to learn to accept help mostly. It was mostly her.
Mm-hmm.
And that was her struggle throughout the movie and like something she learned, and so I did want to point that out. So I'm gonna let you go first with the struggle to accept help and why it's
Ooh,
so
girl.
hard.
Mm. Well, it's funny. I just talked to my other
Oh, we
sister-in-law
got
about
Jay
this.
backstage. Let me let him
Hi,
up since
Jay.
we started. But go ahead. Hey
Just
Jay.
talked. Just
How you
talked to
guys
the
doing?
other. Hey,
Sorry about
Jay.
Good.
How
that.
you doing?
Oh no,
Yeah,
you
I
okay.
wanted yeah, I wanted to be on here earlier, man, but they gave me a longer shift and I'm gonna kill
Oh,
them for that. But
We usually come on Monday, so it's all
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I know, but this is a movie I've seen, like, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I know the ins and outs, everything, and
Yeah.
it's
Uh-huh.
one of those things. I'm gonna say this right now. You
Okay.
really can't talk crap about a single mother if you watch this movie. You
No.
Yeah.
really can't. I can't
Yeah.
say
No.
anything bad about this woman. Because the husband died technically trying to get food for his wife and kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a plethora of freaking sadness. I have to
It's
say
Yeah.
that.
so.
But also
Yeah.
but also it's really shows you how you need to let kids be kids, but also how, yes, a mother doing what she did to take care of these two kids that her and her husband created, and know that they are so different from regular humans. It's
Right.
that's one of those things where it's like, okay, say I'm a that's crazy. Not to just be
It's rough.
careful, but
Yeah.
It's rough. Yeah.
say I'm a guy that has wolf like genes. I'm gonna
Hmm.
be more concerned about like the changes of my kids, whether I'm Superman or I'm a wolf guy or what. They're gonna have certain things that you're gonna have to look out for, but also they're gonna be you want to raise them regularly, but you kind of got to realize that they're different, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's gonna be a component of your genes in your kids to know that they have these particular differences from other people. So
Yeah.
you have to go about it a little bit differently. Whether and
Yeah.
I know and I know, like, let's be real, any father mother of any kind would say, I want our kids to be normal, raise them normally. I don't have to worry about like eye beams coming out of their eyes or something like that. So,
The
I mean,
laser
and I know
beam.
we joke at that, but
Right.
realistically, that's something we got to be worried about, especially us as
Well,
fathers.
I mean, and it's like having a child on the spectrum, and like
Yeah.
I know you can speak to that, like ShyCutie, but like having a child on the spectrum, like accepting that they're different for wherever they fall on the spectrum, like right. I think that's something
Yes.
you like know
Mm-hmm.
that
Yes.
well.
It's a constant reminder every day. Like
Yeah.
that. Okay, the way you thought is not.
Right.
No, just throw it all away.
Yeah. This is the cards you were dealt once
Yeah.
again. Like,
And once
how are you
again.
gonna handle accepting the cards you were dealt? You
Mm-hmm.
can't go back and
Yeah.
switch out your child.
Nope.
Tommy B said, Jay, did you
Did you
cry
cry?
during this movie? I cried, but I be crying on all the movie. I don't know if Jay can hear me, but Tommy B wanted to know if you cried, Jay. You're muted. I think he muted himself, but yeah. But you were about to go into like accepting help and your struggle with
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
Jay
I
came in
mean,
and gave his little his
yeah.
thoughts. But yeah, what were you gonna say about accepting help?
Except it goes back to that childhood trauma. It's like it really. I had to let go of a lot of my trauma to
Right.
be able to accept help and not feel guilty about accepting help. And it's so funny. I just talked to my other sister-in-law about this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That and because we are the same in that sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
I felt guilty for a long time for wanting to ask for help because I was feeling like me asking for help was a burden to other people, and I never
Right.
like want to be that to other people, because I
Mm-hmm.
think I understand one how it feels when you are the burden because of all the trash friendships that I've had, but also
Right.
two, growing up in a situation where your own parents are not doing things for you makes you
Right.
feel like something's wrong with you and that you are a burden. So you
Mm.
you you take this to your adulthood and you struggle asking for help because you feel like if you ask for help you're going to be a burden or
Mm.
somebody's going to feel some type of way about helping you. All these things. So
But what if you Tommy B said he struggled with that all of his life. I refuse to ask for help. But what about in a situation like you said? Like I guess Hannah did that because like, girl, all your little plants dying, honey. Clearly you don't know what you're doing. Not a book helping you. It's like you need
yeah.
help. So what are you like in those situations where you like clearly need help? How even Tommy B, if you can answer that, Like, what's the rationale you tell yourself when you're clearly struggling and you're to the point where you're
Yeah.
like, dang, I might need to ask somebody. How does your
Ah,
brain work at that moment, Tommy B and
oh man.
ShyCutie? Like, what do you tell yourself to keep going in your lack of acceptance that you need help?
So because I grew up getting used to figuring it out,
Mm-hmm.
in those moments, I'd be like, well, if you don't know, you just gotta figure it out. And then in my mind, I'm saying,
Yeah.
I need to do more. I'm not doing enough, or I'm not
Mm-hmm.
doing enough research, or I'm not looking in the right places, or lack of information. But I
Right.
still, for some reason, don't attach that to going to a specific person asking for help. I go to internet, I go to books, I go to
Mm-hmm.
everything else except for another person to ask for help. Very
Interesting.
interesting, right? Yeah.
Right.
Because once again, when you get used to the idea that you are a burden to
Right.
people is going to be the last thing you go to as a source. You're going to go to everything else. And then by the
Okay.
time you go to a person, that's like your last resort kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you gonna be sitting there, and then we be like, "Girl, what you was doing?" So
Suffering
gotta
in
suck up
silence.
the yeah. Tommy B said, "Gotta suck up the ego," but I'll be
You
damn
do.
near kicked out of my house before I ask for help. I'm still working on it. I tend to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and so like I live in the country. Once again, shout out to a very accurate country, country living montage. I definitely appreciate the part where he was talking about companion planting, plants of
Yes.
chamomile next to your cabbage to get and the fact that these are real actual things that you can do when you're planting. And like when he was talking about making the trusses too skinny for the potatoes and planting them too shallow and don't put water on them and all that stuff. Like, and it's funny because like living in the country, you do learn that stuff, and there is a lot of trial and error. And
Yes.
my family, when they moved to the country, like we weren't here because we were over there, but they definitely had to, like, the neighbors is so realistic. Like how they were like, oh, look at your little fridge. And then they brought a fridge. Like country people just be so that is so realistic to like the
Yeah.
experience we've had. That they're like, oh, you need something, and they pull up with it the next day. And don't you dare say you don't want to take it.
Yeah.
So like
No, they don't
country
like
living is healing to the soul. Like if you're a
it.
person who don't want help, like the country living will heal you quickly because
Yes.
nature don't play and nature don't care about your
Nature be
feelings.
like, girl, I don't care about your feelings. These
Right,
potatoes
just
ain't
and I think
growing.
he said that to her, right? He was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, how do you feel? Are you just gonna okay? So you smiling and keep pressing forward is not gonna trump the fact that nature just killed your stuff and you don't know why. So you can keep sitting here smiling like a dummy, or you can ask for help.
Right. Right.
So I
Yeah.
think that's like he was
Tough
the
love.
reality. Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
was the
was.
reality. Isn't that not what happened? When you refuse to
Yeah.
ask for help, eventually, like some come slap you in the face real harsh, reality, or
You be
maybe
like,
not another person, but reality slap you in the face.
it does. It does. It really does. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, because I
I
was
would have
like,
to
girl, you
say,
still smiling like a dummy, girl. Your plans, you still ain't got no food.
right. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I do like how I can relate to this because, like, I think we're out in the country, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and even in our neighborhood, I'm experiencing the similar things. Like, there's an occupational therapist right next door to me,
Mm-hmm.
2 houses down from her, another mom with the autistic child, another 3 houses, another special education teacher who deals with special needs children. And when I started talking about my special needs child, they're all just like, "Well, if you ever need help, just come to me." And when I hear it now, I don't have as much anxiety about it as I used to. But before I would be like, "Ugh, no,
I
don't want to
know.
see."
But I hear that a lot of women too. Like there's always this debate about getting a cleaning person, or like even with
Yeah.
household tasks that I know we talked about that before, but there's always this like even debate with that kind of stuff. Like I knew a nurse, she worked, like I said, she worked 2 full-time nursing gigs, which means she was working 6 12-hour shifts a week. And her house was obviously a mess because, like, girl, you never home. And
Yeah.
so I was like, girl, why don't you get a cleaning lady? Like, no, I can't. I gotta clean up before the cleaning lady come. I'm just like,
I'm like,
girl, like,
girl,
you
yeah.
need help. Like, I don't think anybody's judge. She just had this like thing about it, and I was just
Yeah.
like, girl, if anything, I'm judging you for working 6 12-hour shifts with 5 kids. I mean, that's really
Right.
what I'm judging you for. You
Right.
getting the cleaning lady, like no one cares. Like,
Nobody cares.
and it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then sometimes it is this skewed perception of what you think everybody gonna judge you for versus what people. Because that's not my struggle. I've never struggled with asking for help.
Right.
I just take help. Oh, you want to watch my kids? I'll go for it, please.
Right.
Like
You gonna give me $50?
exactly. I was never that person that if my friend wanted to pay for the meal, we had to fight about it. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
And maybe that's, maybe that is part of coming from a balanced household as a female. I think we're supposed to be that way. I think
Right.
females are supposed to be very willing to be helped, taken care of, provided for. Like, I feel like,
Yes.
like even that mentality, I'm independent, I don't need nobody. Like, that's actually really toxic. And so that's one thing with my femininity that I've never struggled with was
Yes.
taking
That's the
stuff
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and asking for help. I'm like,
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
give me stuff? Yeah,
Oh,
please.
I'll
Come on.
take.
And by the
Right.
way, since you over there, I like this color. Yeah. So you can give me that. Like, I've
Right.
never
Yeah.
had that struggle. So for me, like being a person watching people struggle, like just so y'all know, y'all people who don't like to ask for help, you're
Right.
getting judged because everybody else see you struggling, and we also see that you should ask for help and you don't want to ask for it. So that's what really people judging you for. So I
Yeah.
just like to put that in people's ear.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you're not pulling it off. We see you struggling. So just
I
ask
mean,
for the help.
well, I'll say
Go
this. I
ahead.
think it's more of a caveat for like, you to ask for help. You asking for help isn't a bad thing. I
Yeah.
think, like, ladies, it's okay to ask for help. Dudes, we do know our wives can help us. When that one thing that we know she's good at, I don't mind.
Hey,
I'm not saying I'm gonna
Cocktail.
ask about. I'll come to you and let you know, babe. This is what you specialize in.
Thank you for
I'm
stopping by.
I'm letting you take this because I know
Right.
you're skilled at it. So
Yeah.
Like
that means saying,
delegation.
okay, yeah. It's how I said it is. I'm asking for help, but I'm not actually asking it, physically saying the words. But you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he wants my help. Exactly.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
Okay.
yeah,
wisdom,
but
though.
yeah. It's just how you communicate really, and how you like really key on to each other's I guess quirks,
Right.
of what you
Yeah.
each have. And
Right.
and both the kids really did get help. The difference was one, anybody who has a daughter really kind of can understand what she's going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I get her whole thing, but the son is literally going his own way because he needs to go his own way like his father did. In a
Yeah.
sense of like I need to be the person that I was meant to be. I need to go out.
Yeah.
Like, mom, you can't shelter me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this
Yeah.
is one of the things that you can't really. And trust me, it's one of those things that any mother be like, no, you're not old enough. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
my see you out of the house. Like,
Yeah. Because he was
18
10.
out of the house. Really, 18 is the actual number that people say. But even then, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's more likely that I'm not kicking you out until you're out of college more often than not. But
Yeah.
unless you want to live in the dorm. But yeah, we talk about that, and it's just I think everybody can take a lot from this film and just really understand. First of all, I'm gonna say any lady right now, if you don't get how hard it is to raise students after watching that, then you got 99 problems and plus that. But
Yeah.
but for
It's
me, I'm
hard.
like, I would hate to leave my die prematurely and let my wife literally raise these two kids by herself. Like, I can't do it. That's
That's like a worst nightmare for I think
the
probably a
worst.
lot of
A
men.
woman's worst nightmare
Yeah.
probably is raising her by herself. If her husband
Yeah.
dies prematurely, the only thing you can say, okay, I don't want a woman to think about this. He didn't cheat on you, but he loved you enough to take care of all you and all your assets. If you find out
Yep.
that he didn't, then even more, more power to you that you picked the right guy. But the difference is you didn't progress into old age, which is something that most ladies and men both want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was really
Mhm.
sad. Like
Yeah.
and then having like a newborn, and like we were talking about that earlier before you joined, just like accepting the cards you were dealt, just like her husband dying, and like adding even like the magical element of like now you got these wolf, you like a whole nother species. Like, granted, we don't know what we doing, we raise kids anyway, but like now you
Yeah.
throw in the element of like they're literally wolves and I have no idea.
Correct.
like
What?
what I'm supposed to do. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, poor
Yes.
Hana. But I do
Yeah.
think she needed to learn through this. Like, your
Yes.
smile can't conquer everything. And that's why I
No.
love the
Right.
old man being like, girl, you look stupid. Y'all gonna starve. And you gonna be over here smiling while
Right.
y'all sitting at the table starving. Like, girl, if you don't get some help,
That's funny.
you
Right.
know?
That's funny that you said that. No, no,
Yeah.
but like like I said, I feel for the moms. At least that her daughter wanted to live like a normal person because at first she was. See, both of them went through opposite effects. The boy wanted
Yeah.
to be
did.
normal, then he got older and then realized I want to be more like I want to be more like about my dad. And then
Mm-hmm.
the daughter was like, I want to be more like my dad, but after that she transitioned to be like wanted to be normal. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you both noticed that when y'all watched that. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I ain't expecting 360 like that.
Yeah, and that's what we talked
Yeah.
about, how it actually was subverted, like how you thought it would
Yeah.
go. But I think it does speak to real life. Like a lot of times,
Hmm.
us women, we do go through that. Like we're not
Right.
wolves, but a lot of girls, we live very carefree until we get a certain
Yeah.
age, and then you
We
suddenly
do.
feel that, like, oh, I'm a girl, I'm supposed to be this way. And
Right.
so I
Yeah.
think we do
Right.
actually go through that. And I'm sure men can identify with Ame of like this
Yeah.
wild nature, or like just like him being who he really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Or
Our nature to go seek
yeah,
out who we are, but also to follow the thing that technically we've been programmed to do. And
Yeah.
also,
yeah,
and the thing is, like, just relying on your. I think I'll say this. I think women rely on their intuition, and I think men rely on their instincts. That's what I would
mm-hmm,
say. And the reason why
Mm-hmm.
I say that is the way that what makes us different, but why we need that unity is because those very things are what make us whole or what complete us as a package,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
other than separately. So, and I've always thought and believed that. I don't think it's changed now more often than not, but
No,
Yeah.
because like
I
I
think
said,
it's
because
probably
because
true. I
I'm
think
I'm
it's
not a believer.
accepted.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
say this. I am not a believer that black women are just not incapable of not thinking. I am not a believer of this crap. No one will ever convince me otherwise. Some are off
Yeah.
their rocker. That's the truth.
Right.
But others are not. Like y'all two
Yeah.
sisters are about your minds. The- and
Oh, thank you.
like you're proving my point because you both have your tuitions. Like literally,
Yeah,
you have good
I'm
intuition and you
intuitive.
have good thoughts. Yeah, and you're able to
Yeah.
perceive what your man and also what your kids need. So
Mm-hmm.
like that's where I give y'all power and y'all strength that come from. Another one of your superpowers that you both have. But it's like I said, it's something that goes hand in hand with your significant other. Where
Mm-hmm.
he goes on his instinct, you go on your intuition, and that's how you're able to like get things done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I
the
think
more you
that's
rely
true.
on those things, the better
Yeah.
you guys will be. Other than trying to just go off the intuition itself, or the man just going off its instinct. Yeah, he'll more likely live a little longer, but his instinct really is to reproduce with the lady in order for them to conceive the next generation and
Yeah,
to protect and provide the food, of course. All
but
that.
Yeah.
sometimes that's where you bump heads anyway.
Yeah.
Cause
Well,
it's like
you
they,
will bump heads.
that
Yeah,
intuition. They be like, so you want me to do this because
yeah.
they
Hmm.
come with the logic, like, okay, logically
Well,
break this down for me. You be like,
I'll allow
I
you
right.
to
just
break it
have a
down for you
feeling.
so you understand
You
it
just,
exactly.
Yes.
you just be like, I have a feeling. You know how we be with the
Yeah.
kids. Like, I
Yeah. We
just
do be
think that when
like,
she ate that one cracker last Tuesday, that this is why she's acting like this. And then you like
Right.
change
I
change
don't know
the
if I
diet,
say it
and
like
then it
that, but
works.
yeah.
Yeah, he be like, how? You be like, I don't know. I just
right.
had a feeling. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's true. I
They, they,
agree.
they
Yeah.
be like, yo, I just got this feeling, babe. It's just like,
Yeah. I literally knew
Yeah.
my
it
toddler
happens.
had a fever like 5 hours before she ever got a fever one day. I
Right.
was
Yeah.
just like, I think she's sick. And my husband was like, why? She just walked in the room. I was like, I just
Right.
think she's sick. And then like 5 hours later, she had a fever. He's like,
Yeah, yeah. No,
okay.
no, no. Now, I think you ladies are able to detect that better than we can sometimes. Unless we're
Yeah.
literally holding them and we can feel the temperature. Like, okay, that don't feel right. Of
Yeah.
course,
Right.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
consult you before we go to the hospital, but we're gonna do this quickly because this is gonna be like less than 5 minutes of a talk. I want you to fill
Yeah.
them, and then after that, okay, let's go. Let's go now. We ain't got time to pass this out in
Yeah.
an hour. I ain't doing all that long talking. Our
Yeah.
kid's sick, and we need to go to the hospital right now. I'll
Yeah.
take off whatever I gotta take
Mothers,
off, and we'll knock it out. So
Yeah.
intuition is
yeah,
mother's
exactly.
intuition.
It
Is
is.
Now, if you discover it first, normally it's just like, all right, babe. Like you check the. I'll go quickly. You check the temperature with the thermometer. Check his head, everything. Okay, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When
Yeah,
that
I
out.
know we had, like I said,
And
the
I'll
man
kick
can
anybody in the
say
hospital to make sure our
he
baby
wanna
goes first because we gotta
Yeah.
get that done.
he
I'm
wanna
one of
go
them
in there
Yeah.
people.
acting up.
I won't be crazy, but
But
I'll be like, hey, listen, listen, I ain't waiting 20 minutes. You gonna see my kid now.
oh yeah,
Seriously.
and then we get a cold gray, and then to my some Mr. Strong. You know the hospitals have weird codes we call when people come in getting combative. You like, oh, we got another one, cold gray. Come get them. You know how many men we've had to call cold grays on in
Yeah.
labor delivery when stuff when stuff go left, you having your
Yeah.
baby, and the man of course gets in his protective mode,
Oh
rightfully so.
man.
And then you gotta
Yes.
drag them out the room, honey. And
Oh
them men be
yeah.
trying to kill everybody in the hospital.
Y'all men, it's like when y'all not, it's either y'all not gonna be there at all or y'all gonna be there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he dropped out because he probably driving.
Okay.
But
Okay.
anything else you want to say about help before we wrap it up? Because we right at 1 hour and 36 minutes.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, it's definitely been a good lesson to learn. Like now, I think I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna accept any kind of help that I can get. That's why I was started taking this ABA course. We get, like I even told sister-in-law, like I'm gonna let Zuri come for a little bit during the summer because maybe you guys will see something that'll help me. Because I mean, I'm not a therapist. I'm not everything. I can't be everything. And it just is what it is. And I think, just like you said, accepting yourself, knowing your strengths, but also knowing your weaknesses and how you can work around them.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
Well, that's
very good
good.
at nurturing, but I think that sometimes, like my intuition with her is off because of the fact that she's special needs, and I don't know
Yeah, and I
how.
think that's good that you arrived to that, because I think sometimes we do hold on to that. Like, I'm a mother, I know what's best, and like, I'm sorry, sometimes we
Sometimes
don't
you
know.
don't.
I hate to say it, sometimes we don't know what's best. Sometimes
You
you
don't.
if you know it, but you're working with what you have, and sometimes you just don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl,
Yeah.
I'm quick to say that I ain't got it.
Yeah.
I
Like
be
I
quick
just,
to be like that
whew,
chick y'all want it. I ain't it. I ain't got it.
right.
I'm not that chick. I'm sorry. I ain't got it. Let me go find somebody who do find what I need to
Right.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah, just move on.
Right.
So, well, I
Mm-hmm.
think the
Yep.
movie was great. So, just to summarize, we
Yes.
watched Mamaru Hosada's movie Wolf Children. So, we're going through a series of his movies, and I think the next one we may do is The Boy and the Beast, which I love if we can find it. So, we'll see if we can find it.
We're gonna find it.
Yeah, but that's also a good one. I love that movie as well.
Yes.
And so we reviewed his movie Wolf Children. We played the trailer. We gave our review reactions and rating to it, and then we started talking about the themes of the movie, which the biggest theme was acceptance, and we broke that down into 3 smaller themes of accepting the cards you were dealt in life, accepting help,
Mm-hmm.
and accepting your true nature. And
Mm-hmm.
so we talked about that and gave our life experiences, and here we are. So that's kind of what we talked about today.
Yep.
If you like this content, once again, leave a like on the way out. I appreciate y'all coming in the chat, dropping in. We love y'all input. Thank you, Jay, for
Yes.
coming up. I know he dropped out
Appreciate it.
prematurely, but we
Yeah.
appreciate you coming by.
Thank everybody in the
Yeah,
chat for
any closing thoughts? ShyCutie, you want to
supporting.
shout out to anybody?
I just I gotta say that this movie has moved up to like one of my top 2 because just so many different lessons. I think I was actually inspired after seeing the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a good lesson in like self-reflection, a good lesson in self-acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
and just being okay with it, working through it, the best way you can. But also, you got a little moment in there where you're not sure about something. Look, yeah, don't be afraid to ask for a little bit of help. It's all good.
And then let people help you, because she never
Let
actually had to ask for help. She just accepted the help that they were
Yes,
willing to
that they
give
were
her. So
offering. Yes, that's the other
yeah,
one. Yes,
yeah,
allow people to help
yeah.
you.
Allow people to help you, the right people.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah, that's important. But yeah, I don't pretty much have anything else to say. Once again, I'll be streaming on the next show is on Thursday, and we'll be reviewing episode 9 of My Dress Up Darling. Haven't really decided what we're gonna do as far as our game or whatever. Like I said, last week we played a drinking game, so I'm not drinking again this week, honey. Um We got to do something else. And then on Sunday, we have our otaku talk, and we're going to talk about our experience as Black anime fans, Black otakus. What is a nerd? Are we nerds? And what our experiences have been in life thus far as 30-somethings-year-old anime fans. So we're going to talk about that. And once again, shout out to the chat. Thank you. Make sure you drop a like. I think I covered all the bases, right? Yeah, that's everything. And so with that being said, y'all keep it
cute.
All right, bye.
Bye.
It was I got a question.